There's a memory from my childhood that no one else remembers. I wasn't alone in those pictures. I just couldn't see her, yet. And when I finally did, she was already touching me. She was never missing. She was closer. When I was a kid, my family took a trip every summer to the same quiet town tucked between hills and a lake that never seemed to ripple. I remember everything about it. The smell of wet wood, the sound of distant bells at dusk, the way the sunlight felt dimmer there, like it had passed through something before reaching us. But what I remember most clearly is the house. It wasn't ours. At least, I don't think it was. But every year, we stayed there. A tall, narrow place with peeling white paint and windows that reflected the sky even at night. I remember running through its halls. I remember laughing. And I remember her. She wasn't part of my family. I know that now. But in the memory, she feels like she always belonged. A girl my age, maybe a little older. Long dark hair, always covering part of her face. She never spoke much, but she followed me everywhere. We played games I don't fully remember anymore. Hide and seek, mostly. Though. I was always the one hiding. And she always found me. The strange part is this, I asked my parents about her years later. They said there was no one else. At first, I thought they were joking. Or maybe they'd forgotten. But when I described her, her face, her voice, the way she used to hum softly when we played, they looked at me like I'd said something deeply wrong. My mother insisted I never played with any other children there. My father said the house we stayed in was always empty before we arrived. So I went looking for proof. We had dozens of old photo albums. Every summer documented in glossy prints, smiling faces, lakeside views, family dinners. And there I was. Always there. Standing in doorways. Sitting at tables. Smiling awkwardly at the camera. Alone. In every single photo, I was by myself, even in moments. I remembered sharing with her. There's one picture I can't stop thinking about. I'm standing at the end of a hallway in that house. The walls look darker than I remember, almost stained. I'm smiling, but it doesn't look natural. It looks forced. Because I know, in that moment, she was standing right beside me. I remember turning to her just before the photo was taken. I remember her whispering something. But in the picture, there's no one there. I wish that was the strangest part. It's not. The strangest part is what I noticed last week when I looked at that same photo again. I'm not looking at the camera. I'm looking slightly to the side. As if I'm still looking at her. And there's a shadow on the wall next to me. A shadow that doesn't belong to me. I didn't sleep the night I noticed the shadow. At first, I tried to explain it away. Lighting. A trick of the angle. Something practical. But the more I stared at it, the less sense it made. The shadow was taller than me. And it wasn't shaped like a child. It was thin. Elongated. The head slightly tilted, as if it were watching me even back then. The next day, I went back to my parents' house and pulled out the albums again. Every photo from those summers. I checked them all. At first, nothing. Then I started noticing it. Not in every picture, but in enough of them. Reflections in windows that didn't match the room. Dark shapes at the edges of doorways. And always, just out of focus. Like something that didn't want to be clearly seen. Except in one photo. The last one we ever took in that house. I remember that day. We were leaving early. My parents were in a hurry, more than usual. I remember asking why, but they didn't answer. They just told me to grab my things and get in the car. But before we left, my father insisted on taking one final photo of me in the front yard. I remember feeling wrong. Like I wasn't alone. Like someone was standing behind me, close enough that I could feel their breath. I didn't turn around. I didn't want to. That photo was tucked into the back of the album. I don't know why I never noticed it before. Maybe I wasn't supposed to. In it, I'm standing in front of the house, stiff and pale. My eyes look unfocused, like I'm trying not to look at something just out of frame. And this time, I'm not alone. She's there. Standing behind me. But she's not the girl I remember. Her face is wrong, stretched, blurred, like it's moving even though it's a still image. Her hair covers most of it, but not enough. Enough to see her smile. Too wide. Too deliberate. And her hand is resting on my shoulder. Except, it doesn't look like a hand. It looks longer than it should be. The fingers, too many. That's when I realized something that made my chest tighten so hard I couldn't breathe. In every earlier photo, I thought she was missing. But she wasn't. She was just closer than I remembered. Closer than the camera could fully capture. And in that final picture,